English Daily, the podcast.
Your English journey starts now. Welcome back to English Daily Podcast. I'm Anna, and I'm so excited to be here with you today for another episode where we make English learning engaging, practical, and relevant to your professional life.
Hey everyone, I'm Jack, and I'm thrilled to join Anna for today's discussion. We have something really special planned for you, especially if you're looking to level up your career in 2026.
Jack, I've been thinking a lot about this lately. You know, when we talk about career skills, people often immediately think of technical abilities, programming languages, data analysis, all those hard skills. But I really believe the conversation is shifting.
Absolutely, Anna. That's actually the perfect segue into today's topic. We're going to dive deep into something that I believe is going to be the most valuable skill set in 2026 and beyond, and that's soft skills, specifically around empathy and emotional intelligence in the workplace.
Yes, and not just that. We're going to give you actual phrases, actual vocabulary, and actual expressions you can use right away to express empathy in international English. This is going to be a gold mine for anyone working in international environments or looking to communicate more effectively.
Before we jump in, let me ask you something, Anna. Can you recall a time when someone's empathy at work really made a difference for you? Something that stuck with you?
Oh, that's a great question, Jack. You know what? I remember when I was early in my career, I had a project that completely failed. I mean, it was a mess. And my manager at the time could have easily blamed me, criticized me, made me feel terrible about it. But instead, she sat down with me and said something like, "I can see this didn't go as planned, and I understand how frustrating that must be for you. Let's figure out what we can learn from this together." And honestly, that moment changed my entire approach to failure and growth. I never forgot that feeling of being understood.
That's beautiful, Anna. And you know what's interesting? That kind of response, that empathetic leadership, is exactly what top companies are prioritizing now. Studies are showing that organizations with emotionally intelligent leaders see significantly higher employee retention, better team collaboration, and yes, even better financial performance.
That's why we're doing this episode. Let's kick things off with our first subtopic. Let's talk about why soft skills, particularly empathy, have become the most valuable skill in 2026. Jack, what are your thoughts?
So here's the thing. In 2026, we've seen such massive shifts in how we work, remote teams, hybrid setups, AI, automation taking over routine tasks. When machines can do so much of the technical work, what becomes uniquely human? That's right. Our ability to connect, understand, and empathize with other humans.
Exactly. And I love what you said there, Jack. The phrase uniquely human is so important. When AI can write code, analyze data, even create content, the thing that still requires a human touch is understanding complex human emotions, navigating interpersonal dynamics, building trust.
Let me give you some specific examples. Think about a software developer, right? They need technical skills, obviously, but when that developer works in a team, when they need to understand client requirements, when they need to explain technical concepts to non-technical stakeholders, that's all soft skills. That's empathy and communication.
Absolutely. And I think there's another dimension too. With the rise of AI, there's been this interesting counter movement where employers are really valuing human qualities more. They want people who can bring emotional intelligence to the table, who can lead with empathy, who can create psychologically safe environments.
Curious, Anna, have you noticed this shift in your own work environment?
Definitely. In my company, we recently restructured our performance reviews. They used to be purely metrics-based. Did you hit your numbers? Yes or no? Now, there's a whole section on collaboration, on emotional intelligence, on how you support your teammates. They're actually weighting these soft skills equally with hard results.
That's really forward-thinking of them. And you know what I've noticed? The companies that are thriving right now, the ones everyone wants to work for, they're the ones that have really embraced this. They understand that employee well-being and emotional health directly impact productivity and innovation.
And that's why we're here. We're going to equip you with the language to navigate this new professional landscape. Because it's not enough to just understand empathy in your native language, you need to be able to express it fluently in English too, especially in international workplaces.
Exactly. So let's dive deeper. Let's talk about what empathy actually looks like in practice, and then we'll give you the exact phrases to use.
Okay, so let's get really specific here. What do we actually mean when we talk about empathy at work? Because I think sometimes people have different understandings of it. Jack, how would you define workplace empathy?
Great question. I think workplace empathy is the ability to understand and acknowledge what another person is experiencing, their challenges, their emotions, their perspective, and to respond in a way that shows you genuinely care and want to help. It's not just feeling sorry for someone, it's about actively trying to understand their situation and offering meaningful support.
I love that definition. And I think there's an important distinction, too. There's cognitive empathy, which is understanding someone's perspective, and there's emotional empathy, which is actually feeling with them. Both are valuable in different ways.
Absolutely. And in professional settings, we often need both. Let me think of an example. Say a colleague comes to you and says they're feeling overwhelmed with their workload. Cognitive empathy would be understanding logically that they have too much on their plate. Emotional empathy would be connecting with the stress and pressure they're feeling.
And the best responses combine both. You might say something like, I can see you have a lot on your plate right now, and I understand how overwhelming that must feel. That's acknowledging their situation intellectually and connecting with the emotional weight of it.
Exactly. And that's where so many people struggle in English. They know what they want to say, but they don't have the vocabulary to express that nuanced level of understanding. That's exactly what we're going to fix today.
And I want to add something here, too. Empathy at work isn't just about when things go wrong or when someone's struggling. It's also about celebrating successes, acknowledging effort, recognizing people's contributions. That's all part of emotional intelligence, too.
That's such a good point, Anna. Empathy isn't only for difficult situations. It's about being present and attuned to your colleagues' experiences in all situations, the good, the bad, and everything in between.
So, Jack, can you think of a time when you had to express empathy in a professional setting? Maybe something recent?
Actually, yes. Just last week, one of my team members came to me looking really stressed about an upcoming presentation to senior leadership. He was worried he wasn't prepared enough, worried he'd bomb it, and I could see the anxiety on his face.
What did you say?
I said something like, I can see this presentation is really weighing on you. It sounds like you're worried about not being ready, and that's completely understandable given how important this is. Let me help you think through what matters most. And then we spent 20 minutes going through it together.
That's a perfect example. And notice what Jack did there. He acknowledged the emotion, he validated the concern, and then he offered concrete help. That's the full package of empathetic communication.
And that's the thing. Empathy without action can feel hollow. But empathy combined with offers to help, to support, to collaborate, that's where the real magic happens. That's what builds trust and strong working relationships.
So today, we're going to give you the language for all of these situations. Whether you're validating a concern, offering support, celebrating success, or navigating a difficult conversation, we've got you covered.
All right, this is the heart of today's episode. We're going to go through specific phrases you can use right away. I've categorized these into different situations, so it's easier for you to remember.
Yes. Let's start with phrases for acknowledging someone's feelings or situation. These are perfect for when someone comes to you with a concern or challenge.
First category, Acknowledging emotions and situations. Here are some phrases. I can see that this is really challenging for you. I understand how frustrating that must be. It sounds like you're going through a difficult time. I can tell this means a lot to you. That sounds really overwhelming.
And these are so powerful because they don't try to fix anything immediately. They just show that you understand. Sometimes that's exactly what someone needs first.
Absolutely. Now let's move to category 2, validating someone's feelings. This is crucial because it makes people feel heard and understood. I think your reaction makes complete sense. That's a completely reasonable concern to have. Anyone in your position would feel the same way. Your feelings are completely valid. It makes sense that you're feeling this way.
I love the phrase, your feelings are completely valid. It's so simple, but so powerful. It tells someone there's nothing wrong with how they're feeling.
Category 3, offering support and understanding. These are great for when you want to show you're there for someone. I'm here for you if you need to talk. Feel free to come to me anytime. Let's figure this out together. Is there anything I can do to help? You don't have to handle this alone.
And notice how these are all conditional and respectful. They offer support without imposing. That's really important in professional settings.
Absolutely. Now, category 4, for difficult conversations or feedback situations. These help you deliver tough news with empathy. I want to share some feedback with you, and I hope it comes across constructively. I know this might be hard to hear, but before I share this, I want you to know I have your best interests at heart. I understand this might be disappointing, but let's discuss how we can move forward from here.
These are so important. Nobody likes delivering or receiving difficult feedback, but these phrases make the process much more humane.
Category 5, celebrating successes and positive acknowledgement. Empathy isn't just about hard times. Congratulations on this achievement. You really deserve this. I knew you could do it. That's such a well-deserved recognition. You must be so proud of this accomplishment. This is fantastic news. Let's celebrate.
I love those, and they're so often overlooked. Taking time to genuinely celebrate colleagues' wins is such an important part of building positive workplace relationships.
Category 6, for expressing understanding when someone makes a mistake. This is huge for creating psychologically safe environments. We all make mistakes. This is how we learn. I appreciate your honesty about this. Let's look at what we can learn from this situation. It takes courage to admit when something didn't go as planned. This doesn't define you. It's just one chapter.
Oh, I love that last one. This doesn't define you. It's just one chapter. That's such a compassionate way to help someone move forward after a setback.
And finally, category 7, for checking in on someone's well-being. These are great for leaders and colleagues alike. How are you really doing with all of this? Is there anything you'd like to talk about? How are you holding up? I wanted to check in and see how you're feeling. Are you okay? I noticed you seemed a bit off lately.
Oh, these check-in phrases are so valuable. Sometimes people are struggling and no one asks. Being the person who asks can make all the difference.
So those are 28 phrases right there. I encourage you to go back and practice these. Say them out loud. Write them down. Make them part of your natural vocabulary.
And remember, it's not about memorizing. It's about making these a natural part of how you communicate. Practice makes permanent. Now, let's put these phrases into context with some role-play scenarios. This is where it all comes together, Jack.
Yes, let's imagine real situations you might face in the workplace. I'll set the scene and we'll act out how a conversation might go.
Okay, scenario 1. A colleague comes to you looking stressed about a tight deadline. Role play time.
Hey, I just found out this project needs to be finished by Friday instead of next week. There's no way I can do this. I'm totally panicking.
I can see this sudden change is really stressful for you, and it makes complete sense that you're feeling overwhelmed. Let's take a look at what we can realistically accomplish together. Maybe we can prioritize the most critical parts and find a way to make it work.
Oh, that would be really helpful. I just don't know where to start.
That's exactly why I'm here. Let's sit down and break this into smaller pieces. We'll figure this out together, and you don't have to handle it alone.
Great. Now let's try another scenario. This time you're a manager giving feedback to an employee who missed an important deadline.
Hey, do you have a minute to chat? I wanted to talk about the quarterly report. Before I share my thoughts, I want you to know I have your best interests at heart, and this conversation is about helping you grow, not criticizing you.
Sure. Okay.
I noticed the report was submitted 2 days late. I understand there were some unexpected challenges with the data. Can you help me understand what happened from your perspective? I think there's a lot we can learn from this.
Well, honestly, I struggled with getting the numbers from the finance team, and then I got stuck on one section and didn't ask for help soon enough.
That makes complete sense. It sounds like there were some real obstacles you were dealing with. I appreciate your honesty about this. Let's think about how we can make sure you have the support you need going forward. Would it help if I clarified the process for reaching out when you're stuck?
Actually, yes, that would really help. I think I was trying to figure it out on my own when I should have asked sooner.
We all make mistakes. This is how we learn. And it takes courage to admit when something didn't go as planned. I'm glad we had this conversation.
See how that went? The manager acknowledged the issue, validated the employee's experience, and then focused on solutions and growth rather than blame. That's empathetic leadership in action.
And notice the language. I understand. I appreciate. That makes complete sense. It takes courage. Those are all phrases from our list being used naturally.
Let's do one more scenario. Someone on your team just got promoted over you. You need to express empathy to them while also processing your own feelings.
Hey, I wanted to congratulate you on the promotion. That's such a well-deserved recognition of your hard work. I know you've been putting in so much effort.
Thank you so much. I honestly wasn't sure how to bring this up with you.
Honestly, I won't pretend I'm not a little disappointed too, but genuinely, I think you'll be great in this role. Is there anything I can do to support you in the transition? I want to see you succeed.
That means a lot, honestly. It really does.
Of course, we're a team, and this doesn't change that. Your success is our success.
That was a beautiful example of emotional intelligence in action. Anna acknowledged her own feelings while still being genuinely supportive. That's not easy, but it's so important.
And it's okay to acknowledge that you have mixed feelings. You can be happy for someone and still feel disappointed yourself. Empathy doesn't mean suppressing your own emotions. It means navigating complex feelings with honesty and grace.
You know, Anna, I think these conversations about empathy really come alive when we share real experiences. Can you think of a time when someone's empathy at work made a huge difference for you?
Oh, I have one that really stands out. Early in my career, I was in a meeting where I made a really embarrassing mistake. I presented some data incorrectly, and a senior executive immediately pointed it out in front of everyone. I felt my face go red, my heart race. I wanted to disappear.
Oh no, I can only imagine how mortifying that was.
But then something amazing happened. My direct manager, after the meeting, came up to me and said, I noticed that moment in the meeting. I've made that exact mistake before, actually. It's so easy to do when you're presenting live. The important thing is that we caught it. Don't let this define your day. And then he changed the subject and asked me about my weekend plans.
That's beautiful. He acknowledged what happened, normalized it, and then helped you move on. He didn't make a big deal of it or make you feel worse.
Exactly. And I remember thinking, wow, he really gets it. He could have just said, don't worry about it. but he shared his own experience, which made me feel less alone. That's empathy.
I have one too. When I was in my mid-20s, I went through a really difficult period. My father was sick, and I was trying to juggle work and caring for him. I was exhausted, distracted, and honestly, my performance was suffering.
That sounds incredibly hard, Jack.
It was. And my boss at the time sat me down. She didn't fire me. She didn't discipline me. She said, "I can see that you're dealing with something really heavy right now. Your well-being matters more than any project. Take the time you need. We'll figure out the work." And she meant it. She actually redistributed some of my responsibilities to others temporarily without making a big deal of it.
That's incredible leadership. She prioritized you as a person over short-term productivity.
And you know what? I ended up staying with that company for another 8 years. I would have done anything for her. That's the power of empathy. It builds loyalty that no amount of money can buy.
Absolutely. And these experiences shape us, right? They teach us how we want to lead, how we want to treat others. Now, when I'm in a position to support someone, I think back to how Jack's boss made him feel, and I try to create that same environment.
That's exactly it. Empathy is contagious. When you show it, others are more likely to show it too. It creates this positive ripple effect throughout an organization.
And I think that's what we want for our listeners. We want you to go out there and start this ripple effect. Use these phrases. Show up with empathy for your colleagues. It will transform your professional relationships. I guarantee it.
Now let's talk about how to actually put all of this into practice. Because knowing phrases is one thing, but making them a natural part of how you communicate takes effort.
Yes. So let's break down some practical strategies. First, Jack, what would you recommend?
I think the first step is awareness. Start noticing how you currently respond when someone comes to you with a problem or concern. What are your default phrases? Are they empathetic? If not, that's okay. Now you know what to work on.
I love that. And I'd add active listening. This means fully focusing on the person speaking, not just waiting for your turn to talk. Make eye contact, nod, ask clarifying questions. In English, things like, "What I hear you saying is," or "Let me make sure I understand," show that you're really listening.
Great point. Another strategy, role play with a friend or colleague. Even if you're learning alone, you can practice out loud. Say the phrases to yourself. Record yourself. Listen back. Does it sound natural?
And here's something I do. I keep a list of my favorite empathetic phrases on my phone. When I have a few minutes, waiting for a meeting, on my commute, I review them. It keeps them fresh in my mind so I'm ready to use them when the moment arises.
I also think it's important to be patient with yourself. Empathy is a skill, and like any skill, it takes time to develop. You won't be perfect overnight, and honestly, that's okay. The fact that you're listening to this episode and trying to improve already shows so much about your commitment to growing.
Absolutely. And I think another key is to ask for feedback. After a difficult conversation, you could say to the other person, "I want to make sure I supported you well in that conversation. Did it feel helpful?" That shows you care about improving and that you value their perspective.
And you know what? Sometimes you'll make mistakes. You'll say the wrong thing or not know what to say. That's part of learning. The important thing is to acknowledge it, learn from it, and try again.
One more thing I'd like to mention, consume content that models empathetic communication. Listen to podcasts, like this one, wink. Watch TED Talks, read books about emotional intelligence. Surround yourself with these ideas.
Absolutely. And with that, I think we've covered a lot of ground. But before we wrap up, let's do our vocabulary breakdown and reflection questions.
Let's go through some key vocabulary from today's episode. These are important terms that will help you talk about soft skills and empathy in professional settings.
First up, soft skills. These are non-technical skills that relate to how you work and interact with others. Things like communication, empathy, teamwork, adaptability. They're sometimes called people skills or interpersonal skills.
Next, Emotional intelligence, or EQ. This refers to the ability to understand, use, and manage your own emotions in positive ways to relieve stress, communicate effectively, empathize with others, and diffuse conflicts.
Empathy is the ability to understand and share the feelings of another person. It's like putting yourself in someone else's shoes.
Active listening means fully concentrating on what is being said, rather than just passively hearing the speaker's words. It involves giving your full attention and responding thoughtfully.
Validation, in this context, means acknowledging and accepting someone's feelings or experiences as being real and understandable, even if you don't agree with them.
Psychologically safe refers to an environment where people feel safe to take risks, voice their opinions, and make mistakes without fear of punishment or humiliation.
Feedback is information about reactions to something, such as about someone's work or performance, which is used as a basis for improvement.
And interpersonal dynamics refers to the way people interact with each other, including their relationships, communication patterns, and how they influence one another.
Conflict resolution is the process of finding a peaceful solution to a disagreement or dispute between two or more parties.
Burnout is a state of extreme physical and mental exhaustion, often caused by prolonged stress or overwork.
Well-being refers to a person's overall state of being healthy, happy, and comfortable, physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Compassion is a feeling of deep sympathy and sorrow for another who is hurting, plus a desire to reduce their suffering.
Resilience is the capacity to recover quickly from difficulties and adapt to adversity.
Self-awareness is the conscious knowledge of one's own character, feelings, motives, and desires.
Boundary setting refers to the practice of establishing limits and guidelines for how you allow others to treat you and how you respond to different situations.
Growth mindset is the belief that your abilities and intelligence can be developed through dedication and hard work.
Great job! Those are some powerful terms. I encourage you to look them up, practice using them in sentences, and incorporate them into your professional vocabulary.
Now it's time for our reflection questions. These are questions for you to think about after the episode. Take a moment to consider your answers. Perhaps journal about them or discuss with a colleague or friend.
Question 1. Think about a recent time when you received empathetic support at work. What did the person say or do that made you feel understood? How can you replicate that for someone else?
Question 2. When someone comes to you with a problem, what's your default response? Is it to offer advice immediately, or do you first try to understand and validate their feelings?
Question 3. Which of the phrases from today's episode resonated with you the most? Try incorporating it into your next conversation.
Question 4. How comfortable are you with expressing your own emotions at work? What might help you feel more comfortable being vulnerable with your colleagues?
Question 5. Think about a difficult conversation you need to have. How can you use some of today's empathetic phrases to make that conversation more constructive?
Question 6. How would you rate the emotional intelligence of your current workplace culture? What could be improved, and what role can you play in that improvement?
Question 7. Can you think of a time when lack of empathy at work created a problem or conflict? What could have been done differently?
Question 8. How do you practice self-empathy? How do you treat yourself when you make mistakes or face challenges? Are you as kind to yourself as you would be to a good friend?
Question 9. What's one thing you learned today that you want to remember during your next workplace interaction?
Question 10. How can you commit to developing your empathetic communication skills over the next month? What's your action plan?
We covered so much today, Anna. I'm feeling really inspired myself.
I know, right? We talked about why soft skills are the most valuable skill in 2026. We explored what empathy really means in the workplace. We gave you tons of practical phrases. We did role plays. We shared personal stories. We discussed how to practice. We broke down vocabulary, and we gave you reflection questions. This is a packed episode.
And I want to emphasize something one more time. Empathy is not just a nice-to-have anymore. It's essential for career success in 2026 and beyond. The best leaders, the most effective professionals, the people who truly stand out, they're the ones who can connect with others on a human level.
Absolutely. And remember, this is a skill you can develop. It takes practice, patience, and commitment. But every single conversation is an opportunity to practice. Every interaction is a chance to show up with empathy for someone else.
Thank you so much for joining us today on English Daily Podcast. We really appreciate you spending this time with us, and we hope you learned something valuable.
Yes, and we hope you feel more confident now when it comes to expressing empathy in professional English. Keep practicing those phrases. Keep being there for your colleagues. Keep spreading empathy everywhere you go.
This is Jack, and you've been listening to English Daily Podcast.
This is Anna. We'll see you next time. Keep learning, keep growing, and remember, kindness and empathy always win in the long run. Bye for now.
Bye, everyone. Take care.
Your learning journey doesn't stop here. Keep improving your English. Click the next video or explore more episodes we've picked just for you. See you in the next lesson.